Speed run.
Excited.
I'm live. Okay, right, so I believe we are live. Okay, so we are live, and yeah, so hello everybody. I am the Thebpg13, or also known as Viper Racing. Today for the Marathon Entertainment, I'll be running Driver 2, the Complete Chicago category. And the Complete Chicago category is basically 8 missions that we have to complete, and only one of them, I believe, has to have a bit of RNG to it, but we'll get into that later on. But for now, I presume we're already on the timer, because if we are, I'll count you down from 5 and then we'll go from there. Yeah, if we're ready on the timer, that would be great. Just count me down, yeah. Alright, no worries. Right, so I'll count you down from 5. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So like I said, this is Driver 2, Complete Chicago. We will have cutscenes in and amongst the game, but luckily we skip all of those anyway. And for the most part, this is a pure driving game for the most part, but you do get out of your car. Unfortunately, it's not like Grand Theft Auto where you get out and kill people or anything like that. There's no guns, there's no violence or anything like that. The cutscenes tend to show all the violent stuff, but it's nothing to be too worried about. So, yeah, this first mission, as Jones is talking, we have to basically get from where we are at the safe house to the witness before he gets away. And funnily enough, we have a car in front of us, which I believe this is Tanner's car. No biggie. The traffic is a bit random with where it spawns because you never know what you might get. Because that was extremely close to the lamppost already. So there's a couple of issues with this game as a whole. I'll probably mention these as we go, but for the start of it, you can already tell this game runs smooth for the time being. However, the game itself is known to run exceedingly slow and have excessive frame drops, so sometimes you'll be driving at 25 or 30 and immediately it'll drop to about 5 because the game's software, the hardware, sorry, the PlayStation 1 was not all that great. Like for now, for example, you can already tell the time slow down. So to kind of help with this, we do a little trick which I actually found out is useful in Driver 1. And this little trick is basically to look to the left and to look to the right hand side, because what it does is, due to it spawning less stuff on screen for the game to show, it means that you'll be able to load more frames into the game. So basically the game will run a bit faster. So you'll notice that for now I'm not going to be using that, but during some missions there will be times where I'll be using this frame trick just to make the game run slightly better and run at the 30 FPS limit, which it's supposed to run at. So we're coming up right near the end of the first mission already, and the neat little trick for this is if you hold the get out of the car when you hit the lamppost, what tends to happen is you can just get out instantly. Now usually what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to basically come to a full stop and then you can get out of the car. But for some odd reason, if you whack into a lamppost, it instantaneously puts your speed to 0 and allows you to get out of the car in an instant. So this is one of 2 times where I'm going to be using this trick. So this next mission, Chase the Witness, there is a skip for the cutscene, but I'm not going to try and do that because it's too risky. But we have found out it can save a couple of seconds. So in this one, it's literally as simple as following the blue sedan. Now, due to hacks and glitches and things like that, it is possible to actually get out of your car. I don't know how, but it's something like a hack where, obviously we're not going to be using anything like that today for the safety of this run. But you can do like a hack where you can actually lift the car up or make it lift slowly in the air and make it stop. And then you get into that car and you drive the car with the arrow. The arrow just keeps pointing down and you drive it to the end. Now, for the one thing in this mission, you'll notice that he keeps spawning and swerving in and out of traffic. Now, traffic is obviously a problem throughout the whole of this game. Like I said, it spawns randomly and you don't know where and when it'll despawn and respawn. But for this one, for the most part, as long as you keep your eyes forward, the only bit that I use that trick for is here. Now, like I said, I played this one safe, and we're gonna have to watch the cutscene. But this cutscene, I think, is about 10 to 12 seconds, maybe even more. I'm not quite sure. But basically what you can do is, if you lose him at the exact same moment that the cutscene triggers, you can actually just skip so it has that message on screen instead of having to watch the entire cutscene and then get to that. So it saves like 15 seconds, but mastering this trick is not as easy as it looks. We wouldn't have this problem if they released it on PC. Yeah, exactly. I think you could, or they should have released this game on PC, or at least re-released it. Unfortunately, I can kind of see why they didn't though, because Driver 1 was released on PlayStation 1, Game Boy Color and on PC, but the PC version is so much different. Like, the physics are so much different, the cars are different, the soundtrack's different. Personally for me, the PlayStation 1 version, as we get the worst lag drop ever, and it drops to about 5 or 6 frames here, that it also, like I said, the missions for the most part are the same, but you also don't want anything else to happen. So you don't want to have, like, you know, do certain missions because of the fact that the missions are actually a lot longer and they feel much weirder. The PC version of Driver 1 is just weird. So I can kind of see why they didn't make Driver 2 on PC, but if they did, I would have hoped that, or I would have imagined that the game would have run at 60 FPS because it can, and PCs allow for that sort of frame limits. But I think it would have probably been a bit different on PC. Not too much different, but a bit different. So the one thing I'm going to try and do here, if possible, is try and jump ahead of the train. Now, ideally I want to be doing this towards the end, so it's not too big in now. So it doesn't really matter if I end up losing him now too much, or getting in front of him now. It's right near the end where we want to be doing it. Also, you can tell that I'm trying to get ahead of the train here. And occasionally I'll do a look back like that just to make sure I'm not too far ahead of him, because you can jump ahead of this train, unfortunately, it is possible. For the most part, anyway, you can jump ahead of him. Because I whack a little green car that was pretty innocent. Like I said, the last thing I want to be doing right now is to get him lost, you know, lose him. And the thing is, if you look on the map at the bottom, you'll see there's a black line. You don't want to get that to stretch too far, otherwise you'll get like a game over. I don't know why they thought, oh yeah, you can try and jump ahead if you wish, but it's not recommended. So about this point now we can pretty much floor it, I'd say, up until here. And if I can time it well enough, what we're aiming to do here is aim for the corner, get out there, and then if we can, squeeze through there. Usually I have a big enough gap, and that is the mission done dusted. Now there is, like I said, there is a cutscene that plays shortly after this mission, which is that, as we skip it. But like I said, I think during this category there's something like 5, maybe 6 cutscenes. Now obviously if you watch them it'll take a lot longer, but for the most part, obviously for the most convenient of a speedrun, you tend to skip the cutscenes unless they're unskippable. Which thankfully in this game all cutscenes are skippable, I think, apart from even, well, I think you can even skip the credits if you want. The actual full run of this game will take about 2.5 hours. Which isn't too long compared to some of the runs that I've done otherwise. Now, again, another strat that we found out for this mission, which I think I stumbled across, which is at the end of this mission, it's possible to activate the cutscene earlier than intended by running across the grass and getting into the activating the trigger. Now, for the sake of things for this one, obviously I'm going to keep it safe and not try and, you know, get anywhere too close to him and not break the cycle, because there is I'd say, I don't want to get into percentages too much, but there is like a 90% chance that you can activate the cutscene but you get a game over as well, so it is really difficult. And on this mission you'll notice we have the proximity bar at the top, so you have to keep them at a certain distance. However, I have like an invisible barrier which I like to stick to, which is if you look at the proximity, the line actually lines up identical to the middle of the O. And that is ideally where you want to be. That's as close as you want to get to him. So anything like that, if you get any closer to him than that, you want to just keep it around there. Otherwise, if you get any closer, there's a good chance that he can make you fail the mission and get you a game over. And you have to restart the whole thing again. So obviously for the sake of this, I'm going to back off here a little bit. This is a bit trickier here though. And like I said, it is hard because he does drive insanely slow for some odd reason. And we just managed to, that's the cutscene. So like I said, you can actually cut across the trees and things like that and jump ahead of the car without him seeing you. But doing that is really hard to do in my opinion. And I've even tried it on certain speedruns and it's been like an 80% chance you'll fail it. So like I said, for the sake of this, I'm going to play it safe. Now, this next mission, as we get another cutscene that we're going to skip, this next mission is called Escape to the Safe House, and by far I think out of all the missions in Chicago it is the most RNG based because of the police spawn locations. Now, I did a bit of playing about this morning and found out there's a new little method that you can use to escape the police much easier. So usually I drive straight and cut down to the left and things like that. So the right hand side of this warehouse is where we're going to be coming down. So I'll show you what I mean. There's trees on the right hand side, usually I go to the left of those and just don't even bother with them. But after testing this theory out for myself, it seems like it works quite well. So if you cut to the right hand side of these trees, if you're lucky anyway, you can cut in front, get that red car to stop there, and you can also cut down the inside of this barrier here, like that. Now, fortunately, the police are, I would say slow, but they're far from it a lot of the time. And the idea is you want to get them to whack the traffic if possible. Now, for the sake of this, he did manage to do that, that was close. Now, on this bridge you can get the police on you, and it's not fun when you do, because the police are really stubborn. Like, they're really hard to evade by any stretch, you know, they're not exactly the easiest. My felony bar is quite high as well, so I do need to be careful. As I say that, we've got a police car here. I'm going to go left, hopefully not give him a dodge. Right, so fortunately, and he's going to hit that, that's good. Right, so that wasn't supposed to happen, but for the time being at least, we can get away from the police, especially this one guy anyway. And on the left hand side now coming up, we're going to make a quick left turn here. Cut across here, and we're going to follow this road all the way up. Now, unfortunately, this road is quite easy to get the police on you, but you'll never manage to lose them so easily, unless you get them to hit cars, lampposts, anything like that. That sort of thing. So there is a bit of RNG based in this. Another thing as well is that we've also got police roadblocks at this point. So I think when your felony bar reaches at least halfway, your felony bar will encourage the police to set up roadblocks like this. That was actually really well timed. Now, I've got a full felony bar, so the police are going to be trying everything to slow me down and stop me. Now, because I put the cop difficulty on easy, I should be able to lose these guys before, or this guy, because cops are stubborn sometimes. All the way there. We'll probably get him all. We'll probably keep him on our tail all the way. You'll get cops spawning in and stuff like that, but chances are you'll be able to get rid of them quite easily. Now, like I said, if you can thread the needle between cars, you can do that, which is really nice. And obviously, again, for the sake of speeding up the frame rate, I'm going to just look to the right hand side here. I'm also going to try and go this way. There we go. Right, so hopefully I don't gain a police car on me at this point. A roadblock is fine, but a police car is not that good. By the looks of it, I think we're in the clear. Yeah, we're in the clear. Okay, that's good. So I've done, as I hit the wall. So yeah, I've done that mission much sooner and much quicker, but obviously in this case to get there with like over 1 minute and 10 seconds is pretty decent. I think my best time, as we skip another cutscene, is something like a 1 minute 26 left on the timer, but that was pretty much flawless. But like I said, it's very RNG based with the police, and the thing is, it's not just this mission, there's several other missions where you can really get screwed over by AI and spawn locations of police and stuff like that. It's not the easiest game to speedrun, I'll admit. I make it look easy. Like, Chicago is by far, this category is by far the easiest of the lot. The hardest, I think, would either have to fall to Havana, which is the second city in the game, or the other one being, I believe it is Rio? I'm not quite sure. Right, so Jericho can take one of 3 routes. So, one of the main antagonists in this game is called Jericho, and this is the guy in the blue car that we're following. Now, he takes one of several different routes. However, for this version of the game, he will be taking the route where that white van is. He'll now go down this alleyway here. He'll also try and throw you off in a minute, as we'll see. He hits that tree, like that. And then, if possible, he might also hit another lamppost or another tree. He does do quite a bit of hitting stuff. Like, for example, here. Which allows you to get very close to him. But you can actually activate, as I mentioned before about activating a cutscene very early on, you can also do it in this mission, but it is much easier to activate the cutscene much faster and much earlier on. So he'll take you behind these buildings in this route. Luckily I know which route he's taking. He's also going straight on up here, behind the railway. Which isn't very convenient because it's not very quick. It's quite hard to fit a car through, I'd say. And then for the rest of this, we literally just head down this way. Now he's going to be swerving like an idiot all over the road. But, if we just do this, we should be able to get through. We can jump ahead of him. Now, this means, because I'm in front of him, I know exactly where he's going to go. So this warehouse on the right hand side, he's going to go in now. We can go down here and past this fence. He'll come down here. Now, to right here, there is a trigger that you can activate, which activates the cutscene much sooner. So originally, you're supposed to follow him around the building. It's several seconds lost. The game ideally wants you to follow him from behind, not get in front. But when you get in front, obviously, you're saving time in a big way. Now, I didn't know about this. Actually, somebody called Coopers, I think he's called, actually found this out. So it's a big shout out to him for finding this trick. Also, he was the guy that found out the cutscene skip for Chase the Witness earlier on. So that is Chase the Intruder. That is 6 missions down. We've literally got 2 to go, and the longest 2, I think, we've already done Escape to the Safe House. That's out of the way. This one is called Kane's Compound. Now, there's not so much many difficult points, but as a new player, I'd say this is one that you're definitely going to have a tough time dealing with, because of the fact that you have to escape a van that can drive at the speed of sound, and also because it's kind of a maze. Like I said, luckily for me, I know exactly where I'm going, so it's not too bad. But I can tell you, when I played this game as a kid, it was easily one of the hardest missions I ever encountered. In fact, this was a mission that I couldn't get past for years until I finally figured out a route. So there's a reason we pushed that van out. Originally, you're supposed to drive around him. The white van actually doesn't block you in there, so he does a rubbish job of blocking you in. And instead of going in the warehouse, we actually drive around the warehouse. So again, what we're doing by doing these little, routes is we're actually cutting out the vans that are spawning in and blocking your path. Now for this bit, you have to do the route. There's no way of pushing the car. I do believe you can skip through there, maybe. But again, I've not tested it. Although looking back at it, I guess we could maybe use that. That could be a future skip, I don't know. So ideally, when you get to the end, you think, yeah, I'm going to make it. But little do you realise, when you get to the end here, you've now got one of Kane's henchmen in a super van, as I call it, chasing you, and he's really hard to shake. So it's not exactly the easiest in the world to shake off you. Now, for the sake of things, I'm going to go across to this side over here. And again, I'm going to look to my left just to get the better frame rate. It will slow down here a little bit. Now what we have to make sure we don't do here is have to make sure, ooh, that was close, that we don't hit or don't get hit by the van. So at this point we're now heading down the left hand side of the compound. And you think, oh, well, can't you just turn left out of this warehouse? Well, you can't, because unfortunately the roads are up all the way. Now, there is one little trick you can do here, which I'm hoping I can get it. It'd be convenient if I could. Yes, it is. It's kind of 50-50 whether you get that, but that basically allows you to skip through most of the actual warehouse. And that is the 7th mission done. Now, it is possible at the end, if you want to do it for a bit of fun, you can actually get out of the car before when that cutscene's finished. Which is, like I said, I've managed to pull it off a few times, but it's just for a bit of fun. It doesn't affect your game in any way, it doesn't make the mission finish any faster. It's just a fun gimmick you can do if you wish. Now, this is the last mission in Chicago, leaving Chicago. And it's in the rain and it's pitch black at night. Now, the physics for the game turn a bit weird, only because of the fact that you're in the rain, so obviously you're going to slide a bit more than what you usually do. So you'll find that the game runs slower. Now, this is where the frame issue really has a problem. So you'll notice that the timer's going quite slow, and that is only because of the fact that, well, we've got only, I think, 5 or 10 frames here, but the reason being is because it's got to load all the buildings in. It loads, for some weird reason, loads in way more cars than it should at night for this mission. And obviously for this, at this part in particular, I don't know why, but even looking to your right barely speeds the game up. You also have to be careful of traffic spawning here as well. There is a good chance you can get it spawning, but for the most part, like I said, now we literally just have a look across the beautiful scenery of Chicago as we get away from the AI there. Again, this is just to speed up the frame rate, and we literally want to be following this road right to the very end now. So ideally we want to be following it just all the way. Just follow it straight, be cautious of any traffic, try not to hit anything if possible. And also at this point now, we're now going under the railway. So you might recognise this was where we chased the train before. Yep, this is that same bit again. However, for this part we're not following a train or anything like that, because I kind of thread the needle there. You'll notice the AI is random when it spawns. It doesn't spawn in certain locations or anything like that. It'll just spawn randomly. So, like I said, this game is very RNG with where its AI decides to spawn. And like I said, you may want to be cautious or watch out. We are going to go across here. Now, originally they did actually mess up my line a little bit there, but it's not too bad. We've still made it. We're still going down the same route we're supposed to. So like I said, you follow that road all the way down, you go down here, but instead of following it straight, you actually turn left, come down here, go through these traffic lights, and cut to the right hand side. So behind this tree here, I believe. There it is, yeah. And then literally what we do now is all the way to the end we follow as we just get a side swiped. No biggie. We're going to get, like I said, it's literally just a case of following it all the way right down to the very end. And obviously I'm going to use my frame trick, or the frame trick, to speed up the game a little bit. At this point you can actually keep holding it to the right because of the fact that the traffic on this particular set of road is nothing. You do have traffic here, unfortunately, but that's nothing. Also, I'll mention when it is time because we are gaining now right towards the end of the mission, and there is a certain part where we will be having the we will be saying time on this one. Sake of things, I hope I lose him. There we go. Right, okay, so I will say when it is ready, when it is time. And time! That's time. That's it. That's the run done. What was the final time in the end? If I could have it, that would be really good. That's it, all done, dusted. Rubbish. That was not 22:41. No, that wasn't. Surely. I've got to go back and have a look at that, but that is a new record. Holy crap. I presume that the timer started when I said new game. When I clicked new game. Because if it did, then that is definitely a new record by some margin. I think my best was like a 24 something or other. But yeah, that was driver... Oh my god. That's the second time I've done that. I wouldn't mind, you know. I did a run yesterday for a marathon, got the world record in it. But yeah, damn, that's... I don't know what to say on that. GG, I guess. Also, you get to watch the beautiful Driver 2 demo.
To get your mind straight, the timer started exactly as you said it, and I checked your Driver 2 speedrun.com thing, and that is a new record, yes.
Yes! No way.
Chicago percentage.
Jesus.
You beat your old one by nearly, well, by actually
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Oh my god, that's unbelievable. Am I still live, by the way?
You are still live.
Oh,
yes.
right. Right, okay. Because I'm still live, I just want to quickly mention something. So, a few of these, the strats and the tricks and stuff like that, I just want to mention a big shout out to, obviously, I found a couple of the tricks, but I also want to mention Coopers, who had a say in finding some of these new tricks. So getting the trick on the Chase the Intruder near the end, going into the warehouse and skipping that. Also the cutscene skip in the second mission and things like that. As it stands, I think currently between me and him, we are working on a full run and working through all the strats where you can cut corners and finish the game as quick as possible. But right now, that's unbelievable. And yeah, that's everything. Oh yeah, a big shout out to the Driver speedrunning community as well. In particular, Zoton, who I think is in chat, and also Taduva as well. And Ewill. I forgot about Ewill, but yeah, Ewill as well. That's it. I'm all done. Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, that's everything done and dusted, I suppose. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys, and hope the next race, which I'll definitely be tuning into, the Simpson Sit and Run race, hope it goes well for everybody. And yeah, see you later.